Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the first live stream on Truth Report. I'm your host, Joe Emilio. I am joined today by Ronaldo House, Kuchle, Maseko, and Rob Herself. How are you guys good? How are you guys doing?
Super.
Good?
Well,
You're all good? All right.
just like a
Well,
bench.
first,
Wondering,
let me just preface this by saying, ladies and gentlemen, that we're going to try and do a weekly live stream every Tuesday, 12 p.m. We're going to talk about the week that was, what you guys can expect in the future. We'll talk about politics, current things, sports, anything and everything under the sun. We encourage you guys to please chat to us in the live chat, whether you're watching this on Facebook, X, or YouTube. We will see those comments coming through. We'll answer your questions. If you guys want us to talk about any topics that you guys think we should talk about, then please drop them in the comment section. Also, every week you'll see a different panel of experts, commentators, content creators. We'll try and have a rotational kind of panel on the show so that everybody that contributes to the Truth Report has a chance to be on this live stream. Next week, we've already got Ronaldo House, who's going to host, and Rob Herself will be joining him, and Sama Sambit will also be on the show. We're just waiting for someone to join. The Sama Sambit.
Guys, I'm just going to let you know, if I turn sideways now and again, I've got the cricket on and India 20 for 1, but they've got a target of 549 to make. So I think maybe we start with sport. The Springboks' ridiculous victories against all odds, and the cricketers are thumping India in India. So lekker, man.
Yeah, I'm not really a sports guy. So, but if you guys want to, Ronaldo, if you have something to comment on the rugby, you can.
Yeah, look, I think the destruction by the forwards against Ireland with all those cards, I believe it was 4 cards in total against Ireland. It just clearly demonstrates that South African power is just on another level, and even the laws being changed, and the fact that Rassie Erasmus didn't get Coach of the Year just clearly illustrate that we're doing something right. So now it's just heading towards next year's new kind of structure that they've planned, and then it's to do a three-peat with the Rugby World Cup. I'm looking forward to that.
There's this scrum coach called Don Human, who's the unsung hero of the Springbok squad. And you can actually go online, Dan Human, and have a look at him. He's terrifying. All he thinks, breathes, eats are scrums. It's fantastic. And Rassie even says that Rassie's in charge of everything to do with the coaching except the scrums. He leaves Don Human alone. I love it.
It's brilliant. And they go to his farm to go, and so it's not like high-tech equipment. It's like old tractor tires. It's like the old, it sums up Afrikaner krag perfectly. And it's just beautiful because every aspect of the Springbok team, it includes all the different cultures of South Africa and takes the best of it and brings it together. It's brilliant. Love it.
And then on the cricket, final comment on sport, Marco Jansen, who's a strike bowler, our main strike bowler. I think he took 6 wickets in the last innings against India. He scored 92 runs, batting number 9.
Jeez.
I love the fact we're all part of these successes. It's so lekker. Start off on good.
It's amazing.
I feel like Kuchle and I are like not really sports fans. Kuchle, do you watch sports?
I do, believe it or not, I do. I've not been following the cricket, but I do watch cricket, quite honestly. I'm looking forward to the Nedbank Golf Challenge. I think I even mentioned it on our private group. I'm like, who else is going? So I can know who to go with.
I'm going. Kuchle.
Rob, let's go.
I'm up there.
Okay, sweet.
Do you want to play? You play golf?
Yes, I do. 12
cool. DM me. I'll get you in because we've got Tony Payne of Techno Gym has taken this little villa with a chef. So Rob is not running for president. Maria, stop that. I'm not. I've got such a good life. Why would I do that? I like causing playing golf. I'm not running. Forget who this Facebook person. I'm not even on Facebook. But anyway, about 20 people sent it to me.
Speaking of president, let's talk a bit about the G20, guys, because it just happened. Nothing. I don't think anything dramatic happened at G20 per se. It was apparently very well run, but I don't know if you guys have noticed this push, this campaign to almost glorify Cyril Ramaphosa, our president, as if because he ran a successful summit. That now, I don't know if you guys have seen, some people are calling for him to be elected president again. Some are saying that he's the best president in South Africa. Oh, we never would have made it without Cyril. Oh, the glorifying of Cyril. Guys, I'd really like your opinion on this. I'm sure you guys have seen some of the headlines. Let's start with Rob. Yeah.
If I can dive right in, the G20 was probably a relative success. But if you look at the declaration, the 20 declarations, it's the kind of thing I'd give to a grade 8 group of schoolgirls and say, come up with 20 things to improve the world. None of them should have actionable events to them, but come up with 20 things. So one girl goes, let's clean the environment. Let's make the environment. Okay, that's a good one. And then another girl would say, financial inclusion's a good thing. More people need bank accounts. Okay, that's a good thing. And it's 20 sort of wanky things with no action points to them. And there's one in particular that I noticed, and it was probably number 12 or 13, which was anti-corruption. Okay. Cyril has to sign that. Cyril of the ANC, corruptomania, have to actually sign off on that. So it's kind of it's the G20s. Look, is it a good thing they meet and talk? Probably yes. But I'm sure the private conversations at dinner, or when they're peeing in the bathroom or whatever, those conversations are probably the more relevant ones. Everyone trying not to look at who's bigger than the next, are probably the most relevant ones, as opposed to these wanky kind of 20 declarations that a bunch of schoolgirls could have done. But the fact that Cyril's getting this praise is probably the anti-Trump effect. The fact that Trump, Malay, and a few others kind of dissed the G20, made the Trump haters or people with Trump derangement syndrome double up their efforts to sort of say, oh, Cyril, well done. You stood up against Trump and his bullies, blah, blah, blah. And I think that's all it's about. Everyone's going to go back to normal Gauteng in a couple of weeks where everything's falling apart. Everything that's been cleaned will no longer be clean. There'll be no more water, no more electricity, the usual ANC disaster in Gauteng. And this brief moment of Cyril enjoying some plaudits will be gone, my view.
Yeah. And Kuhle, your thoughts on the G20?
So firstly, it was not a G20, it was a G40-something or G50-something. Now, the interesting thing is, looking at the G20 and what actually happened this weekend is we have got, like Rob rightly said, people who are vehemently not supporters of Trump. We talk of Emmanuel Macron. We talk of many leaders, including Sakia Starmer from the UK. These are known to be avid non-supporters of Trump. So there is no surprise that they would have gone there in the first place to prove the fact that they don't support Trump. But South Africans, if you do see this as success, I would like to remind you, Sir Keir Starmer's not coming back in the next UK election. Will most likely be under Nigel Farage. The Brits will most likely be under Nigel Farage in the next election. Same as Macron, he's not coming back. So all of Ramaphosa's friends, including himself, they aren't coming back, whether you like it or you don't like it. That's the way the world rolls. Now, the interesting thing is, of course, Ramaphosa, because Trump didn't attend, including Javier Milei, who we could take a bit of a script from in terms of how to fix a country, didn't attend this G20. The only person of significance, if I had to be honest, was perhaps the Italian president, who I would say, okay, perhaps really came and could acknowledge. But let's speak about what happened this weekend. There was the Ubuntufication of economics. Oh, how poor countries rightfully, supposedly, should get money from rich countries, and rich countries should not demand the money back from poor countries. These were the literal discussions that were had this past weekend. Now, I don't know where Ramaphosa and the loony ANC live, but in the world of economics, there is something called Stan Staffel, which means there is nothing like a free lunch. So if I give you money, I expect you to pay it back or at least do something for me. That's the way the world works. Now, this Ubuntuification of economics and trying to include everyone is how we've got the Islamification of certain places like the UK, because we can't stand up for what is right. We can't stand up for our conservative values, the values that the world rightly stands for. And let me just, as a parting shot on this point, remind you about one thing, and one big thing is South Africa got access to the G20. Now, if we South Africans think that Ramaphosa was truly successful in pushing South Africa's mandate, I would like you to think again. Don't ever think that rich people will allow you to change the way they think or view the world. I'm just trying to, give a little of an eye to France and to the UK. Why must they change? In fact, the way you can make them change is by becoming rich yourself. So that is what South Africa should be focused on, not trying to make an Ubuntu world.
Absolutely. You make some great points there quickly, but I want to give Ronaldo a chance to also give his thoughts on the G20. Go ahead, Ronaldo.
Yeah, thanks. I think we can now see who the enemies of South Africa truly are. And what I mean by that is these are the individuals that act like South Africa is not in dire straits. So all these nations that were praising and worshipping Cyril Ramaphosa and are now saying that Cyril needs to be the president again, it's a clear indication of how these people are not looking at what is actually happening in South Africa. I think everybody that's live here wants a South Africa that is brilliant and that we can have a G20 and benefit from when it is done the right way. But the fact that the government was ripping off banners to try and avoid embarrassment of things that are factually happening in this country, it's just a clear illustration that this G20 was nothing more than just the rest of the world trying to make it seem like South Africa is still this rainbow nation that they promised the rest of the world in 1994. Then on top of that, if you look at how much this G20 cost South Africa, 700 million rand. Now, I'm pretty sure we'll get some investment back and we'll probably make a profit on it. But you have to ask, if we live in a country with youth unemployment of 60%, violent crimes taking place in this country every few seconds, and a murder rate of 84 murders a day, couldn't that 700 million rand have been spent in a better way, in a better manner? So just my summary is, we all know Cyril Ramaphosa is the worst president that this country has ever had. And yes, that includes also pre-1994. If you just look at the unemployment rate, the crime statistics, corruption, and lack of service delivery. So everybody can pat themselves on the back for a successful G20, but it's going to fundamentally change nothing in South Africa. So well done, I suppose.
And that's exactly the point I have too. Like, it feels like 48 hours later of an event, people have forgotten that we are, in a country with one of the most violent crime statistics, high unemployment rate. Even that there was on social media, there was like this graph that showed that South Africa's unemployment rate compared to the other G20 countries. And I don't know, just felt like, mainstream media and everybody else has just like forgotten about that. And it's all, I think, in response to Trump and in response to, I think they got embarrassed by the banner as well, the banner that was up by Solidarity that said, it's South Africa is the most race-regulated country in the world. And I think there's some truth to that. And I think that this was all just a kind of damage control campaign. Having said that, though, speaking about the banner, I would like to get your guys' thoughts on that too. Rob, the Solidarity banner, I'm sure you saw, that said the most race-regulated country in the world, taken down, then put back. I think Solidarity is fighting in courts now, or won the court case. I'm not sure entirely. You can correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, thoughts on that, guys? I mean, is that not...
Joe, what it's done is it's just massively amplified the message that was up there, massively, because not only did South African media pick it up, but international media picked it up as well, and the message got across. So in a way, it worked against, the ANC and against the people pulling it down. And it's created a lekker gemors and a lawaai for everyone, and a story that spreads like wildfire. Everyone in South Africa, if you hadn't gone to Johannesburg, you would not have seen it. You wouldn't have been on the M1. Now everybody knows about it. Everybody, because it was front page news, the tearing down, the lawsuit. The unfortunate thing about the lawsuit is the taxpayers pay for the lawsuit. And that is always the case. When you sue the government, they're just using taxpayer money to defend themselves, so they don't care.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, Ronaldo, you also had some very strong opinions about what happened. Do you care to share?
Yeah, I find it very hypocritical for a government that says we believe in the Constitution, and then when a company uses an outdoor advertising company that already got the rights for that space to put up a banner, then it gets removed within 4 hours of being put up, or at least them becoming aware of it. And factually, there's no lie there. And this is the thing that I think a lot of South Africans need to take cognizance of, is that if you think that Solidariteit or AfriForum is lying to you, you've got access to Google, and as of the last year, you can ask AI to illustrate specifically what are these race laws, and is it factual or is it not. And it's sickening to think that the ANC government is showing us every day more and more how they are exactly like the apartheid government. And that should scare everybody, especially if you look at the policies that are being implemented in this country. We just need to get to a point where mainstream media has to start doing their job, or at least try and be as neutral as what the mainstream media was during apartheid in exposing what is happening in this country. But instead, we've got this leftist mainstream media, or as Adams van Zyl calls it, dinosaur media. And we saw, also what happens when I'm going to go a little bit off script here, but it relates to the bigger issue. If you look at Media 24's results over the last 3 years, it came out that in the last year in revenue, they dropped 630 million rand. At this very point in time, Media 24 costs Naspers $9 million every year as a loss. So that's 150 million rand that Naspers has to pay into keeping the doors open at Media 24. And that is because no, but I know you do, Rob, and you are a good example of this. When mainstream media preaches to their readers that somebody like Rob Hersoff is a racist, like Joe Emilio is a racist, like Kutle is a coconut, then what mainstream media doesn't realize is that they are speaking to the vast majority of people that actually think Rob is a decent guy, that Kutle speaks the truth, Joe talks about what's going on. So if mainstream media doesn't realize that if they're consistently going to hound people that other people admire or agree with, then they need to realize that they are calling their very own readers racists. They're calling their very own readers white supremacists or coconuts, etc. So the sooner they realize, just to start reporting on the news like they did for many, many years, this loss is going to continue year after year, and eventually they'll have to come to Truth Report for a loan to keep the doors open.
I'm very nervous because the Sama Sambit is in the audience and he's firing off comments. The question I want to ask you, we're talking about coconuts, is how come you're so pale? Is this like are you going through like a goth phase?
You're talking about me?
No, I think it's just the lighting. It's just the lighting. It's just the lighting. I'm still very much brown. Don't worry.
You need to get out into the sun.
Kukle, your thoughts on the whole solidarity banner and all that. You I think also had some strong opinions about it, so I'd love to hear from you.
So just to be pretty clear, Solidarity is a trade union. I think we need to start off there. It's a trade union, therefore it represents a bunch of employees, both black and white. The most recent big case that Solidarity was dealing with in terms of their employees happened to be FlySafair and the pilot salary increment, right? Which represented both black and white pilots. Okay, so now let's think about this together. The ANC, with all the problems that exist in Johannesburg, including Gauteng in general, the over 300 informal settlements in Joburg, not Gauteng, in Joburg alone, over 300 informal settlements, the thousands of potholes, the robots that, well, at least they work now because of the G20, but before the G20, when that was taken down, the robots that weren't working, the mess, the decay, the murders that are going on. The biggest problem was a banner. That was the most effective service delivery Panyaza Lesufi did before G20. Literally. I mean, that was the moment he actually felt a bit of a fire under his butt and decided, oh gosh, let me go and do something. Now, let's be clear. That billboard or the board, or it's not an advertisement, but the board that was there on the side of the M1 highway, didn't mention any specific race. And I've said this time and time again. There was no attack on a black person. There was no attack on a white person, Indian or colored. The board simply said, welcome to the most, the most racist country or race-based country.
Race-regulated.
Oh, race-regulated. Thank you so much, Rob. Welcome to the most race-regulated country on earth. Which is fair enough. I mean, there's BEE. When you apply for a job, you must fall under a certain demographic. And let us not forget, in South Africa, what does the law say? I've got a right to my opinion. It's my opinion at the end of the day. If it's the opinion of Solidarity and its members that this is the most race-regulated country in the world, I can't say they're wrong because it's their opinion. An opinion is neither right or wrong because it has not become fact yet. It's Solidarity's opinion. Now, understand this. The bottom line is, I feel like the ANC shot themselves in the foot because what does this say about Kill the Boer? The song. No, let's be honest. What does this say about One Bullet, One Settler? All these songs. Well, I mean, we might as well say, oh, please, stop that. Stop. That's no longer struggle songs. That is now racism, which it has been. We know it's racist. Now, when there is a board that doesn't attack me, you, or anyone, I don't even think the auntie that drives from Soweto to Midrand to go and work even minds what's on that board. She's probably thinking, how on earth am I going to buy bread for my kids? I mean, we're focusing on things that don't even matter to the South African public in general. And that's what the ANC has made of us.
100%. I couldn't have said it better myself. The Solidarity banner thing was like a huge, blow up in everybody's face, or at least in the ANC's face. They just showed how communist they were. I mean, they're just like, oh, you can't put that up, and then it's like, yeah, we can. It's within our rights to advertise.
Do they know who did it? It was the what's his name? Lesufi? No.
Yeah, the Sufi.
It was a metro. It was Johannesburg Metro Police.
Yeah. So,
but they obviously got an instruction from a higher up. So my suspicion, because of Lesufi being so quick on it and posting about it, was Lesufi was notified of it. He notified somebody in Johannesburg as a councillor or a mayor or executive member, and then they did that. I wish the police was so quick when a murder takes place to remove something.
Or when there's potholes, dude. Like, imagine they were so, they were so quick to remove a banner. Imagine how, if they could be that quick to fix potholes and robots and other things, right? But no, let's rather adopt a robot. That just sounds like such a better.
All our foreign visitors to the show will be going, robots? South Africa's got
let's be clear. I mean, let's just mention one important fact for South Africans to remember, despite the so-called G20 success, if it was successful, is this. South Africa's unemployment rate is more than double that of Palestine. Please understand. Have you ever, I mean, this is like a student who gets 40% advising the one who's at least passing on how to succeed, that this is the way to succeed. I mean, our murder rate in the Cape Flats alone equals that of Gaza. I mean, I mean, it's crazy. Cape Flats, we're not counting the whole of South Africa. Just count it there. It's equal to a war-torn country. And somewhat we think we've got the moral right to go and educate the world about morality and Ubuntu and all those wonderful. I mean, look at the Palestinians that came in. Just look at them. I mean, what are they going to go on a beach holiday in Durban? I don't know. Are they going to contribute to the economy? I don't know.
What was that all about? I still don't quite understand who brought them in, who allowed it. It's felt like the government had no idea it was happening, and they
I don't
arrived
think
on
anybody
charter.
really knows. I don't think
I've
anybody
got my
really knows.
suspicions.
I think it's all like speculation.
Kukle, what do you
What's
think?
going on.
What's your suspicion? Let's be conspiracy theorists.
Now, I'm going to have to use the word allegedly here. I don't want the Islamic cabal to come out.
Okay, News 24. Okay,
You
News
might have
24.
to get some bodyguards for me after this. But so I believe that Imtiaz Suleiman, right? And I've heard this allegedly. I've heard that Gift of the Givers, Imtiaz Suleiman, Ibrahim Rasool have played a very integral part in getting these guys to come to South Africa. Number one, let's not forget the first part. This was not the first group of Palestinians to come. The only reason we got to know is because they got stuck on a plane. It created media attention. I mean, they came last month. No one knew. Life continued. The bottom line is our country is being sold without our full knowledge. But nonetheless, we don't have to go into that. Here come these guys fetching a bunch of Palestinians on a chartered flight. And then they say, well, Home Affairs and BMA, Border Management Authority, which is its own separate entity, says they came from Israel without any stamps. My gosh, I don't know if it's me or Home Affairs, or not even Home Affairs, actually, DERCO or BMA. When have they ever been stamps from Israel? There are only two countries in the world where you don't get stamps, Israel and Hong Kong. It's well known that you don't get stamps. Now, number three, they make it as if, oh, when these guys got here, my gosh, we didn't know these guys were coming. Where is the manifesto of the flight? There is a manifesto that tells us who is coming here. There is, before it gets in, there is no way a sovereign country that South Africa likes to claim when it comes to Donald Trump, right? Say, we are our own country and independent. There is no way that you would allow a flight that is carrying goods or people that you don't know to come in. There's no way. If that was really the sense, you would say, hold it. What's that that's coming in? On the radar, you can check. But they came through here.
I think there's a terror cell inside of that group.
I would believe it. I mean, let's just remember one thing. Hamas leaders, and we know this very well, they live in Qatar. They don't live in Palestine. They don't live amongst the alleged suffering of the people of Palestine. They live in Qatar. I mean, look at these guys. Allegedly, they paid thousands of dollars. They got a chartered plane. Do you know how expensive it is to charter an Airbus? That was an Airbus 320. For gosh sakes, and that is very expensive. People paid thousands of dollars to come here, bringing one back. I looked at the plane. No one looked hungry in that plane. I mean, people were smiling. Others have got smartphones. I literally asked someone the other day who was debating with me over Palestine. They said to me, haven't you seen, Kukle, the videos? Haven't you seen the videos? I said to them, listen here, my dear. The fact that there are videos coming out of a war-torn country, how the hell is they network? How the hell is they cell reception if it is as bad as you make it to be? Look at Ukraine where there's real wars. You don't see these videos, someone shooting, oh, look at me, here I am, I'm getting bombed. The bottom line is, I believe that this could be Hamas relatives. It could be relatives to Hamas leaders coming across.
And you know, there's Kara Vermark, 7592 says Rama was probably paid. You know, he's probably got a sofa somewhere else that's packed full of money, because that's coming out of Iran and coming out of, you know, that Imtiaz Suleiman is anti-Semitic, Hamas supporting, and evil. And he's got Dangor and Pandor on his payroll, although all on Iran's payroll. And these are nasty, dangerous people.
And just for context, he's on record saying that there's only one law that he follows, and that's the law of Islam.
Sharia.
So,
Oh, really?
Sharia law. He doesn't believe in the Constitution of South Africa, because if he did, that he'll understand that he'll have to abide by that law. But also, just on this story, Al Majid Europe is the company that brought these people here. If you go onto their website, the two people that own the business is AI Photos, and now they've uncovered that it is this I don't know, it's this person from Israel, and I don't know where, but it's a Israeli country and then a Muslim country. And now they're trying to uncover who is behind it. But I mean, I just think that this is a clear-cut case of a lot of South African organizations, specifically like Gift of the Givers, because look how quickly he managed, Dr. Suleiman, how quickly he managed to get in touch with senior ranking officials to get these people a 90-day visa. Now, who else in South Africa can do that? Can an average South African phone Home Affairs and say, listen, my family member is stuck at the airport, they don't want to allow him in, and then within 12 hours,
it's Dangle, another anti-Semitic Iran page POS.
Yeah.
And just to highlight, there was a very stiff fight, allegedly, yet again, allegedly, we've got to use this for legal terms, between Dr. Leon Schreiber and Ramaphosa about these Palestinian so-called refugees that came across. Now, Dr. Leon Schreiber was like, I'm not having this. I'm not going to allow for this illicit program to continue. There was a lot of pressure that Ramaphosa was facing from Imtiaz Suleiman, from Ibrahim Rasool, and all his backers from all over the world to allow for these guys to get into the country. Let us just understand something very well. Home Affairs says we've got no record of them applying for asylum here. We've got no record of them applying for refugee status here. They applied through a company. I didn't know I could apply through a company to get a visa or to get asylum in another country. I didn't know this. I mean, really. Now, you realize the GNU in action here. You've got to think to yourself, if there was no GNU, now, I know people hate the GNU and what it does, understandable, fair enough. The bottom line is we would have the ANC doing this right under our noses. We'd have hundreds and hundreds of Palestinians coming in to South Africa without us knowing. Last year alone, 90 Palestinian doctors came into South Africa, as if we don't have unemployed doctors here. Students come from Palestine to South Africa, funded by who? We need to ask the question, because I can tell you something. If they aren't paying, we are paying as South Africans.
It's the radical Islamic invasion of South Africa. It's just begun.
Well, on that note, I just want to do some housekeeping before we continue with our next topic, gents. So for those of you who are joining us now, by the way, there's over 500 watching strong. So thank you guys so much for tuning in and engaging in the live chat with us and commenting. We see your comments. I will bring up some of the comments just now, but just want to remind everybody that if you're tuning in, this is the first ever live stream on Truth Report. It's Truth Report Live. Thank you so much for joining. As you can see, my name is Joe Emilio. I'm joined by Ronaldo Gauss, Rob Hersoff, and Kufle Maseko. And don't forget, like I said, drop in your comments, give super chats as well. Support Truth Report. With your guys' support, we can continue to produce content and cover the truth in South Africa. Having said that, there have been some super chats that have come in, so let me address those quickly. We had 10 Rand come in from Let M Watch. Thank you so much for that. And we had 40 Rand coming in. Let this channel grow to 1 million, baby. Yes, we're definitely trying to do that. And Latte M Watch also giving a 40 Rand super chat saying, like this comment for Rob for president. Rob, you're getting a lot of comments.
It's Let Him Watch. It's Let Him Watch.
Oh, Let Him Watch. All right, sorry, Let Him Watch. But Rob, you're getting a lot of support to be president. So you sure you're not going to rethink? I saw a comment earlier.
I'll be Kufle's Minister of Fun.
I saw someone mention. I don't know if I can find it. It's probably long gone now. But someone said like you should make You should make a party. You should get behind it. Maybe even if you don't run for president in that party, maybe just make a party. But I think there's
So,
too
guys,
many
I
parties
think
right
what's more interesting, and I appreciate you saying it, but I'm not the guy. My wife thinks because I've done too many naughty things in my past, but I just said I'll own all of them if I did stand. I'll just say, yeah, I did that. Yeah, everyone's done that. Big deal. Moved on. But I think what's more important is what Prince Mashele said to me when I chatted to him last week, that the ANC is irrelevant in 2029, as is EFF and MK. The DA's got a glass ceiling, and a new poll is coming together, or should come together. I couldn't define whether he knows about it or he suspects or what he's hearing, but there's a whole new poll coming together of qualified black, white, colored, and Indian people, and they are going to be driving the election in 2029. And I think that's the exciting thing to watch. And, obviously I have an incredible list of people that I'd love to have involved in something like that, including Prince Mashele himself. And I'd really get behind something like that, as I'm sure a lot of the people watching the show would. So rather than me, Madala, 65, I'll be 69 by then. Too old. You don't want oldies in government. You don't want politicians, lawyers, bureaucrats, regulators, people that are too old, or people that haven't been involved in business. You've got to understand revenue, profitability, costs, hiring people, firing people, structuring things. You need more business people, more engineers, more doctors, more, people that have real jobs in government, and not people that studied political science and want to be in politics. I want less of those people. Politics is too important for politicians to be running.
Yeah, absolutely. I think
Ronaldo, you didn't even smile.
He's part of the
I'm
FF
also
Plus,
watching
so
the
he's not
cricket.
interested.
I'm also watching
No,
the cricket.
you're not, because it's over. It's finished. You're not watching it.
I'm joking. No, so
By the way, which category are you on the thing you're watching on the side there?
Oh no, I'm actually watching. I'm watching us on this screen over here. I'll just give input quick with regards to that. There are many competent people within government already. The overwhelming majority, unfortunately, is placed there through cadre deployment. It's just how loyal are you to the organization, and this is obviously affected by the fact that the ANC is the biggest party in this GNU government. But Kutle said something earlier that I disagree with a little bit, and that is, the GNU, to some extent, we can argue about semantics, but it's not the change that we wanted. But in the process, what we have lost is an official opposition that was actually fighting for the betterment of this country. The official opposition that we have right now is literally the EFF and MK. This is the opposition that we have. So I would say the DA hasn't made the difference in the GNU as much as the difference that they made being the opposition in South Africa. So that is why I believe that things like this plane and this aircraft landing and Cyril Ramaphosa just saying whatever he wants and getting away with it, that would not have happened if the DA was still in the opposition benches.
Yeah, 100%. I just wanted to also get to some other comments that came through. So Sama Sambit was trying to do some plugging for Ronaldo and his live stream tonight. So those of you that are watching, if you want to see the Sama Sambit and Ronaldo, please join Ronaldo. Is it on your channel, Ronaldo?
On my channel, yeah.
All right, 8 p.m?
At 7 p.m, yeah.
All right, so join in that tonight. And then there's a question that came in for us, guys. The Social Research Foundation has shown increased support for DA, less for ANC, as well as support for the alternative to BEE plan from the DA. Do you believe it?
So let me dive in here. So,
Rob,
as Jayton McKenzie says, polls are for strippers. And I think in that joke is a lot of relevance. And even Franz Cronier says, polls swing week by week, depending on what's going on. But we're leading up to the municipal elections. And the biggest one of all is Gauteng, but, followed importantly by Tshwane, Nelson Mandela Bay, and whatever it is. Ekurhuleni. I can never remember that And those are the big ones where the DA wants to get over 50%, or at least close enough to have a very small coalition. And I think fundamentally the municipals are driving voters who will swing towards the likes of a DA for the municipals because they're just sick of no service delivery. But that doesn't necessarily mean that this is the fundamental change that's taking place all the way through to 2029. I do think change is happening. The green shoots are moving. Voters are beginning to say enough's enough. And I think that is fundamental, but I don't know how big that is. So the Strategic Research Foundation do the most comprehensive polls. I really do follow those avidly, and they're particularly Franz Cronier or Gabriel Makin's analysis of the polls, I think, are very good. But even they say things can swing wildly. What is happening is the ANC's support is falling. And I think that is a real reflection of what's going on. Whether the DA is blasting through 30%, I don't know. Who knows?
Just before we get to Ronaldo's thoughts on that, I just have to address the 350 Rand super sticker that just came through. Guys, a round of applause. Come on.
Heinrich Schonefeld.
Thank you so much for the support. Thank you.
We can
All right,
again.
Ronaldo, or who wants to add to what Rob just said? Kuhle or Ronaldo, you guys can.
Okay.
I'll go first. Kuhle is the person in politics at the moment. From my side, the ANC usually a month before the election pulls out the big squeeze, is what they call it. So, I mean, we are so far out from the election. Look, I mean, the DA, if people think the DA is growing, I mean, I believe in that same research. It didn't actually even mention the Patriotic Alliance, which I believe is going to be the biggest growth party in this election. The colored support is going to dwindle for the Democratic Alliance, especially in Cape Town, especially in the Cape Flats, and also in Nelson Mandela Bay, and also around South Africa, where colored people now feel that they finally have a voice. And I don't blame them. I know the PA might be a little bit of a race-focused party, but I mean, let's be fair. During apartheid, a colored person wasn't white enough, and now a person isn't black enough. So the PA is going to eat into the DA and the ANC's colored support. I don't think that it's a true reflection. I think that this is just a case of it's too far out. So let's see what happens closer to the time, maybe 2 months and a month before the election.
Kuhle, thoughts?
So yes, I'm gonna be objective, but obviously, I mean, I'm for the DA every day, but but yes. So the DA is on a growth trajectory. I'll be quite honest, especially where we are in the city of Tshwane. We are looking at 40%. We are not. It's not that we're trying to be objective. We're just looking at this thing realistically. I mean, we're currently at 32%. The last election, 2021. The last local government election, same size as ANC. There's only a difference of 4 councillors between us and the ANC, so more or less the same size. By virtue of controversies were existing, even if we didn't grow, the DA will be the biggest party in Tshwane. Even if we didn't grow next year, we will be the biggest party. But obviously, like I said, all polls and charts show us leaning towards the 40% mark. Now, an important thing to remember is, yes, we possibly could be losing support amongst the colored vote, which is okay. And it's being lost to the PA. But let's remember something. The DA is making up that vote through the black vote. The DA's black vote has actually doubled since GNU.
The DA has been saying that since I joined the DA.
Well, the DA's black vote,
and every election, it's just like it shows no. But anyway, sorry, Kuhle, sorry.
Yes, right.
I'm interrupting.
Right. So the DA's vote has doubled since the GNU. You look at Helen Zille coming through. You look at Helen Zille coming through. I mean, people are leaning towards the DA as the possible party that really should run government. Let's be quite honest. People are tired of these one-seat parties. people don't have time for your Al-Jamars and your AICs and UDMs. I don't know if they still exist, but if they do, they don't have time for them. People are focused on backing a horse that really can have effective change. And like Helen Ziller rightfully said in, I think was an interview with Donald Brown on Truth Report, where she said people always use the argument of Khayelitsha versus Clifton, but no one speaks about Alex versus Santon. Why are we making it as if townships only exist in Cape Town? Townships are right across. It's the unfortunate legacy of apartheid that it has left, that the ANC has not been able to sort out in 31 years. But be that as it may, let us remember that the suburban areas like Clifton, Santon, etc., are developed by private sector. They are literally developed by the private sector. So what I'm trying to say in a nutshell is you've got to just look. DA governance is perhaps where things are going to next year. I also do see the Vryheid Front perhaps regaining lost support from the 2024 election. But so my big prediction is see a massive growth for the DA across metros such as Johannesburg and Tshwane specifically. I need to highlight those two. And then I see some growth for the PA. Definitely, I do see the growth that's happening there. But I also do see growth happening for the Vryheid Front in terms of that recovery happening. I see a drop from Action SA, and I do believe that the Action SA voters from 2021 are going to return to the DA and to VF Plus, those few Afrikaner voters that went to Action SA. And another possibility is currently Action SA ate from VF Plus and the DA in 2021. But what's going to happen now is Action SA will most likely leave what they previously took, but now take the ANC stock. That is my prediction for next year's election. It's going to be tough. MK is going to struggle. Boy, oh boy, I'm so happy. MK is going to struggle. EFF is going to struggle. They are going to implode. I don't think there's anyone left in the EFF outside of Malemba and his mirror, but including ANC, they are all going to struggle. And that woman called Patricia de Lille, oh gosh, will that? I mean, UFC. There's a new party called UFC. I don't think
Ultimate
they will
Fighting
make it
Challenge.
past yeah, I don't think they'll make it past the 3 letters in their acronym. So yeah.
So guys, did you see? I need sort because it got sent to me on a group, WhatsApp group. Daily Maverick have done their People of the Year 2025. Cast your vote.
Oh boy.
And the options are so woke, lefty, Islamic, anti-capitalist, anti-business. It's like Hero of the Year. The only option, if you're a half decent person, is Rassie Erasmus. Otherwise, they've got all these monsters like Suleiman types that are Person of the Year. There's a typical Daily Maverick. Anyway, I think we should do a Truth Report version. The Mukhu of the Year could be quite a long selection. I think we need to have our version.
Maybe we can do one every week. I think is it Sunday Times? Someone who does Mampara of the week. Yeah, so we can do the same thing. Why not? There's definitely loads to choose from. So yeah. Before I forget, I also
don't forget you made it to the top 10 most hated white people. I always tell you every time I see you.
But I was only number 7.
That you made it
number 7,
including Ronaldo. The two of you made it. Joe, you've got to work harder.
Ronaldo beat me. I'm pissed off. I got to do better. I'm gonna get in the top 5 next year.
We also got a 40 Rand super sticker from Let Him Watch. So just wanted to give a big shout out to
Heinrich and Let Him Watch. Guys, you're keeping us afloat.
Fantastic. Thank you guys so much for all the support. So as we close off, there's one topic that I did want to mention, and it's also got to do with the G20 because on the Friday, the beginning of the G20, there was a huge protest in South Africa organized by Women for Change. I don't know if you guys noticed it. Everybody on social media had their profiles to purple, their profile pictures. Some still do. And it was a huge protest in Pretoria and in Cape Town. And it was so big that it actually got global coverage. And this is just before the G20 was about to begin. This message of femicide that is amplified now because of the women and children that die in South Africa, kind of touching base with what we spoke about before, how Cyril has promised things in the past. He said he was going to fight for the women in South Africa, make it a safer place. He clearly hasn't done that. The amount of women that are sexually assaulted per hour is disgusting in South Africa. The amount of women that die, the amount of children that die in South Africa is also very, very worrying. So do you guys have anything to say on that protest? Rob, go ahead.
So I ran, I use Manus and ChatGPT. So I just asked for the 20 statistics on gender-based violence in South Africa. And I'll just read a couple of them to you. It's horrifying. I didn't realize this. 51% of women in South Africa report having experienced some form of gender-based violence in their lifetime. 51%. A woman is murdered in South Africa every 3 hours. The country's femicide rate is 5 times higher than the global average. And between 2020 and 2021, 5.5 women per 100,000 were killed by an intimate partner. Where's this rape with this? It's terrible. I mean, it's the rape.
Every few minutes, a woman is raped in this country.
In the second quarter of 2024 alone, 957 women were murdered. And in the same period, 10,191 rapes were officially reported to the police. But it's estimated that, you ready for this? 95% of all rape cases in South Africa go unreported. So if you do the math, that's 200,000 rapes in the second quarter of 2024 alone. And this is not just women and girls over 18 years old. In 2024, a national study found that nearly 70% of men believe a wife should obey her husband. So I just want to raise two topics here that are kind of tricky, unpleasant. I think there's a cultural problem here in South Africa that needs to be discussed, and clearly a religious issue when it comes to Islam and women. Those are the two things I like to throw out there. So over to you guys.
Well, I'll build on what. Sorry, let Kutle go. Apologies.
Yeah, no, my B has to work at some point in time, Ronaldo.
I mentioned Kutle because he had a very strong reaction to what Rob said there. So I just want to hear.
No, I was just laughing at Rob's answer of, Islam. I'm not disputing it. Actually, it's true. I just never expected him to say it. So I was like, oh, gosh, okay, he said it. But nonetheless, to me, to be quite honest, it is very complex. And let's understand feminism, or is it the feminist movement for what it is, right? There's a difference between the traditional feminists and woke. We need to really separate the two. And the issue is woke wants to sort of absorb or dissolve the traditional feminist. That's what they want to do. And we need to be very aware of that. Women do deserve rights. And it's just interesting. I'm listening to, as Rob is speaking of these scary stats, I'm thinking, I'm sure it's safe for a woman to be in Palestine rather than being here. I should actually start a movement to send our South African women there. I think we'll be a lot safer there. But it's crazy. I mean, Cyril Ramaphosa, who is also, I don't think we can call him alleged because he admitted it himself, supposedly a wife beater, because he apparently beat up his ex-wife, is now going to lecture us on how we should all be aware of GPV the same way he's lecturing Israel on Palestine. But nonetheless, I understand this for what it is. Now, my opinion on the Women for Change marches, I am 100% for fighting gender inequality, for making sure that our women are equal to men. I'm 100% behind it. My issue happens to be the organization, and I'll explain why. The organization Women for Change is actually funded by, it has actually got foreign funding. The lady who started Women for Change, allegedly, I need to highlight allegedly, is not even South African. Now, I'm very wary of movements that are spearheaded by people who aren't South Africans, because I would like to know what is the political manipulation that you would like to see in South Africa. I mean, what made me very wary of the movement, and I'll highlight two things, is yes, we are fighting for change, and I understand it, and I'm for it. I mean, I even made a speech at one of the rallies, believe it or not. But why are you saying that no one should go to work while there's so much unemployment in the country? You just need to think about these things logically. Why are you saying that no one should withdraw from the economy? We must remember, what we're fighting here is the injustice and the ANC. Why are we trying to kill ourselves? Because us not withdrawing from the economy is like killing ourselves. It's not killing Ramaphosa. He's got his dollars in a sofa. He doesn't have his money in the South African banking system. So we should just be very wary of these organizations like Gift of the Givers, who front as these good, amazing organizations fighting for humanitarian crises, while actually they've got other agendas behind. That's all I'm saying. I'm for the movement. I support it all the way. But I'm very wary of the organization and its motives behind certain moves that do not make economic sense to me as a South African.
Fair points. Ronaldo.
Yeah, from my side, let's start with the president. So, since Cyril Ramaphosa became the president, he has spoken on gender-based violence 30 times, and that's usually during the State of the Nation address or on Women's Day or Women's Month. And every single time, it is just rejected, and GBV increases in this country. So it's just lip service that Cyril Ramaphosa and the government is paying to actually fighting gender-based violence. And then the broader aspect of the Islamification of South Africa. But there's also one that might not be popular to talk about, but I'll raise it, and that is Lobola in South Africa. Lobola is seen as a financial transaction for a woman. I mean, surely there needs to be a problem with that. I know that, you know, there's some people that will argue it goes deeper than that, but fundamentally it is somebody paying somebody else for a woman's hand in marriage. So women are treated like commodities. So this is something that we need to look at. It's a cultural thing. It is a systemic problem in this country, and the government of this country is not paying any attention to it. So we need to look at the broader aspects of what is causing this and deal with it decisively, even if it is cultural traditions that need to be modernized to fit in, to not discriminate or treat women as lesser beings than men.
So
Yeah,
can
and
I just jump in there? I just think
sure.
on the Lobola part, I think, which is a very interesting topic actually. So my ex actually once made a joke to me saying, "I don't want Lobola. You can pay 20,000 rand, so it's just like, you know, we all get it over and done with type of a thing." But so to Africans in general, I mean, something done across Nigeria, everywhere, actually, all of Africa pays some form of a dowry. In fact, I don't know how it started, but the bottom line is traditional, joining families, blah, 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 blah. Now, the interesting thing, I think, for me, when we speak about culture, I wouldn't necessarily look at Lobola as a reason in terms of why people perhaps abuse per se, but I would look more on what is taught in culture. Now, let's look at rural areas, right? These are very conservative places where it's believed you are a man, therefore she must listen to you. I was literally telling my friend the other day, I said to him, you know, his wife literally kneels when giving him food. I said, my boy, how inhumane is this? I told him, I said, you know, my sister could never do such. I mean, really, are we living in the 17th century where I must come, kneel, hail, hail, here's your food. Do you like it hot or cold? I mean, bloody stand up, go and fetch your plate, warm it up in the microwave if it's too cold. I mean, so These are the cultural changes that we need in society, about educating people that we are equal. We really are. I mean, and I look at society today, and a lot of people will say that Africans are losing their ways because they no longer do things the way they used to. The bottom line is, if you look at European society, much like African society, used to be the same back in the 16th century, 17th century. But the bottom line is, as human beings, we are always advancing, we're always improving. The moment we find a better way of doing something, oh gosh, we do the better way. We don't say, because my great grandmother fetched water from a river, therefore I won't have a tap. No. The bottom line is, get a tap, because the world is modernizing. So that is my plea to South African men out there, is to understand that the world is moving. This idea of women are your subjects or your toys. I mean, I used to create this example when I was still in school, and people used to laugh at me. I said, where we got it all wrong in terms of equality and all sorts was the day gents started calling their girlfriends chicks. Because a chick is a baby chicken. You're already conditioning the mind that you are small. You'll forever be small.
My wife calls me baby sometimes, and I don't know whether she's as a compliment. But you know, Kutle, you need to get into the comments here, because the Sama Sambit is slamming you left, right, and center. He goes, he says Kutle doesn't have an ex. He's as single as an aloe vera plant. And
how insane is this?
Culture will only change when Ronaldo stops wearing a hat.
Look at what I've got over here. Yeah, I think I've got this one.
I should get it.
Where's that be, Ronaldo? Where's that be?
Oh no, this is for my one Boston Terrier's got an insane rash. Oh, my Boston Terrier's got a rash, so I'm putting this on.
Sure.
Someone should tell you, because he's watching. I know he's watching, and he's gonna laugh at the story. When we were out in Israel, was a few weeks ago. So there we are, midnight strolls. We're walking to the beach, and I'm fresh from a breakup. Like I said, summer. I told you, boy, I'm fresh from a breakup. It's been a week or two. Walking along the beach. There you go. We see these two ladies sitting there. I hear South African languages. I could hear it from afar. I said, this is home. We go there, we chat there, we made ourselves some Casanovas. Summer, don't lie. Okay, just tell people.
Guys, this is MAD. This is mutually assured destruction. Summer, if you fire another one, Kutla's going to fire, and then it's all going to explode.
Before we go, another super stickers come through. 21 Rand from the Bang 784. Thank you so much for that 21 super sticker. It's greatly appreciated. But gents, on that lovely note, it is the end of the hour, top of the hour. I think we had a fantastic discussion, a fantastic, successful first stream. I'm very much looking forward to the ongoing weekly, show, Truth Report Live. If you're catching this after the fact, then please, oops, I am.
Bye, Joe.
Sorry. I am still here. If you're catching this after the fact, then please drop a comment in the comment section. For those of you that are watching now, catch us again on Tuesday at 12 p.m. next week. Like I mentioned earlier, Ronaldo will be hosting the show, joined by Rob Herself and the Sama Sambet, and we're looking for another panelist, which I'm sure will be confirmed throughout in the week. We can see if he's available. Yeah, why not? But we will definitely all be back at some point.
No, we have to adhere to the government's broad-based Black economic empowerment policy. So we have to have Kutle and the Sama, because I think it's 50.1%. Let's see if we can.
You understand that next week we can actually apply for a tender, Rob. I mean, once it's Sama, we could actually apply for serious tender.
KJ Becker, KJ, thanks, man.
Dating for super sticker. Thank you so much, guys. All right. With that being said, that has been the week that was and the week that is going to come. We hope you enjoyed it, ladies and gentlemen. Catch us again next week, Tuesday, 12 p.m. Guys, thank you guys so much. Had a really fun time. Awesome discussion. With that being said, enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. We'll see you at the next one. Your Truth Report is